What you are about to see in this video deals with the reality of self-defense in the street. And for the first time in a video, the myth is exposed about the effectiveness of traditional martial arts in these confrontations. There are some unpalatable truths, and all the more unpalatable if, as is likely to be the case, you are a traditional martial artist. The martial arts of the Far East, in all their variety, and from whichever country, have over the past few decades become systems of sport, or remained an art form in which people with complementary techniques spar, practice, or fight with pre-arranged rules or conditions of engagement. To extend the interest of such play, more and more stylized techniques have been introduced, far removed from the simple, effective roots of the system's martial beginnings. In the real world of the pavement arena, an attacker has never read the syllabus, seen the rules, nor expects to be involved in 2 minutes of skillful exchanges of techniques. Rather, he will attack with a high degree of cunning, using a simple technique with the total element of surprise. Often, he will pick on the weakest of those who seem to be least aware of their surroundings or what is going on around them. In other words, a victim. He will show no mercy and is not conditioned to bells, flags, and whistles. Against such people and in such circumstances, traditional martial arts systems become a hindrance rather than a help. Techniques perfected for exchanges in the dojo, such as high kicks or complicated blocking and counter-attack routines, do not work and are simply dangerous myths in the street. Such myths have been further propagated by the film industry, which sells its films on the basis of spectacular fight scenes. The very term self-defense puts people at a mental disadvantage, as it promotes an attitude of reluctance to act first and act decisively. Rather, they wait too long, expecting that their training in one-step sparring and free fighting will work in a street engagement. The wide variety of techniques in the memory store of martial arts practitioners again becomes a problem rather than an asset, as a mental logjam occurs when the pressure and fear of a real attack erupts around them, taking them by surprise, and they struggle to find a suitable response. In a way, they are overtrained and yet underskilled, with little or no understanding of the principles of threat awareness. In this video, as an overview, and in successive releases in detail, we will look at what practical benefits and techniques can be drawn from martial arts systems, but how up to 90% of what has been learned needs to be discarded. Also, many martial artists will have to face the truth about the narrowness of the system that they practice, and deal with the usually closed-mind attitudes which predominate at the top of style associations. They may also have to swallow the bitter pill about their inability to generate impact in punches and strikes, particularly at very close range. But all is not lost, because the how is covered in this series. But what about the people who are holding forth these controversial views? What right and experience do they have to contradict the teachings of generations of martial arts? Peter Consterdine and Geoff Thompson have between them over 50 years' experience of martial arts. Peter Consterdine began his martial arts career in karate in 1964 at the age of 15 and became one of the youngest black belts of his day. Through the late 60s and early 70s, he was a full Great Britain and England karate international and fought on many winning national teams. Beginning his karate training in Wado Ryu with the British Karate Association, in which he obtained his black belt, in the early 70s, he changed styles and was one of the founder members of the Shukokai Karate Union, obtaining his Shukokai 4th Dan in 1978 from Sigoro Kimura Sensei. On the traditional side of things, Peter, now a 6th Dan, is the chief instructor of the British Karate Association, the oldest karate association still in existence in Britain. He is also the karate technical editor for the magazine Martial Arts Illustrated. Alongside these very strong traditional roots and experience, Peter has operated a dual existence. In 1972, he started working as a doorman in a nightclub in Manchester, where he stayed for 6 years, following which he owned his own chain of clubs and pubs in areas not known for their appreciation of the good things. It was as a result of his experiences on the door that he began to question the effectiveness of his traditional training. In 1979, Peter became one of the first Great Britain internationals to fight in the then new full contact competitions, going on to win the first British middleweight title. This experience and that of the door work caused a total change in his methods of training and his search for the core effectiveness in other systems, particularly the Chinese system of Wing Chun. Western boxing, weights, and heavy anaerobic hill work all contribute to his training routines. Peter now runs his own security company and is principally involved in close protection, bodyguard industry. As well as working as a bodyguard, he trains prospective bodyguards in all aspects of the work, particularly the close quarter combat and small arms work. In this respect, techniques need to be simple, effective, powerful, and aggressive. The other producer, Geoff Thompson, from whose book The Pavement Arena the title of this video has been taken, has a similar traditional karate background to Peter. A 2nd Dan in Shotokan Karate with the KUGB, and a 3rd Dan with the Central England Karate Organization, Geoff has over 20 years of practice behind him. But, like Peter, his views and techniques for self-defense and street work have been formed through some 11 years of very serious confrontational door work in Coventry, where, after numerous successful encounters, he has honed powerful, simple, yet effective techniques. Geoff's many years of frontline door work led him to question the effectiveness of his traditional karate and set him on a path of learning. The result being to combine the best of karate, judo, Western boxing, and grappling. In fact, Geoff is a qualified boxing coach. One overriding purpose of Geoff's for working the doors was to develop a personal system of fear control. Again, in the vast majority of cases, the traditionalist has no practical experience of this, without which no self-defense teaching can have the basis of reality. Geoff has now combined this mental aspect of his development to become a successful author with 3 published books to his credit, and 3 more underway. He is also the self-defense correspondent for Combat magazine. As you can see, both Geoff and Peter still practice traditional karate, as they are firm advocates of the need for good and sound martial arts roots. But they are equally convinced that martial artists must understand that certain specialized disciplines and techniques cannot be used outside the dojo. The delivery of blows in a point system contest must not be considered as being effective in self-protection work unless they are modified through research, clear thinking, and proven application.